What up? This is Yamaha J, man. What's going on? Here, pardon the mess in the garage. Here trying to see. Today's mission is for me to accomplish an oil change on my R3 2016. I read up on it on the service manual. It looks pretty simple enough. Let's try to see if we could do this together. First things first. Gotta have my little coffee. And first things first is tackling the fairings. So let's get started on that. The looks of it from the service manual, all you really have to remove is this plastic fairing, which has a bolt here, another bolt down here, and another bolt down here. So let me see if I could get a little bit better lighting around here, if it's possible. So again, one down here, one over here, and one up here. That should open up the panel where we would be able to get to the drain bolt in there and the oil filter in there. It could also be done through the bottom, but let's try like that, like removing the plastic first. Let's see how much of a challenge it'll be. Alright, now that should remove that plastic fairing. I don't know if you could see it, but there is a couple of pins right in there, and there's one further towards the bottom. So that's the challenge right now. Wow, taking off the fairings is a little bit more challenging than what I thought. So what we're gonna do is just try to do it right from the bottom. Just try to do everything right from the bottom instead of removing all the fairings. And Alright, as you can see, the oil is coming out. It's not too messy like that. Nothing got on the fairing itself, so let's see how it goes. Alright, I'm gonna wait until it's completely drained before I take off the oil filter, just because I don't want to get too much oil on the floor. We'll put this back. Once everything is in order, I will tighten it to spec. Now, let's see how it goes. This over a little bit. Oh. It's starting to leak. Alright. I got a little job on my hands. I'll be back once I take off this filter. Alright. It was a little mission, but we got the oil filter off. Now let's put everything back together. Yo, what's going on? This is Jay. Today is Thursday. I started my little how to change the oil and oil filter on my Yamaha R3 on Monday, but I ran into a couple of things. Like I said, I'm learning along the way, but you know, it was hard enough I had to take off the oil filter. I couldn't figure out how to remove the fairings just to make the space and everything just much easier, so I had to do everything from the bottom, which it wasn't that bad. But another thing that I didn't realize is, I guess on these Yamaha R3s from 2015 to 2018, when you're gonna change the oil, when you remove the drain bolt, you have to put in a new gasket. I guess the original gasket that comes is about this thick. As you go tighten it, it like compresses, gets smaller. So every time, I assume every time you have to change the oil, you need a new gasket, and that is the reason for why I am finishing off today, because I had to wait for the dealer to get the gasket in. Then I have a back stand, and I was using this stand for the front. I know this is not a front stand, you know, it's not a stand for the front of the bike, but I said, you know what, let me try it. If it holds up, good. If it doesn't, you know, fine, I won't put it on. But I put it on and it held up the whole way, up until I started torquing to spec the engine drain bolt. That, lo and behold, was no good because it needed a whole new gasket. But as I was tightening it, torquing it to spec, the bike fell. You know, it fell off of the stand and it fell on the floor, and it slammed, the mirror slammed up against the wall, and it broke one of my OEM mirrors. Pardon the light is not too good in this garage right now until better lighting is put. It's only two lights, one over there, one here. Once the garage gets empty, I'll put more videos. Will be a little bit better quality lighting, audio, everything will be better. Trust me. It's my first video, and you know, you just got to make do with what I have right now until it gets empty. But I know it doesn't really matter, the mirror, because I was going to put bar end mirrors. I was going to remove those, but you know, it's always good to keep the OEM factory stuff. You know, unfortunately, that one ain't going to be no good for me anymore because it broke. Nothing else happened to the bike, so I didn't do a video finishing it off because, you know, the engine drain bolt was already on. All I had to do really was to add, put the new gasket in and add oil. I turned it on, let it run for a while. The oil level went down a little bit, so I topped it off, which I knew I had to top off because it takes 2 quarts and a little bit, 2 quarts and a little bit of a third. So, topped it off. Let me see if you are able to see the engine level with whatever light we have. See? Fresh oil. It's a little bit towards the max line, but from what I've seen and read, they said to always keep it in between or a little bit towards the max. So I guess it's a little bit towards the max, and you know, as you can see, running. So yeah, my next how-to, hopefully coming up the following week, is flushing out the coolant system and putting in some engine ice, which from what I've seen online and by professionals, that, you know, this is like top of the line, one of the best coolant for motorcycles. So, but I was told if I have the green engine coolant, I have to flush the whole system out. So I gotta hit the internet and hit the service manuals and whatnot, try to get that good and ready, and see if maybe the flushing and changing the coolant will be a little bit easier than the changing the oil was. So again, guys, thank you for being a part of, or at least watching this, you know, little mediocre video. But you know what? I'm starting, I'm learning along the way, you know. So thank you guys. See you on the next one. Deuce.